Motivation will destroy you. You think it's your ally. You think it's what drives success. You're wrong. Motivation is the reason you start things and never finish them. The reason you're excited on Monday and quit by Wednesday. The reason you've been chasing the same goals for years without progress. Motivation is a drug. And like all drugs, it feels good in the moment and leaves you weaker in the end. Miyamoto Musashi never relied on motivation, not once. In over 60 duels to the death, he never waited to feel motivated. He never waited for inspiration. He never waited to feel ready. He showed up. He executed. He won. Because he understood something that will change your life if you let it. Discipline doesn't require feeling. It only requires decision. And today, I'm going to show you why motivation makes you weak and discipline makes you unstoppable. This isn't theory. This is the samurai way. The path of Shugyo. Austere training. And once you understand this distinction, everything in your life will change. Let me tell you about two men, Satoshi and Takeshi. Both 28 years old, both wanting to change their lives, both starting from the same place. But one relied on motivation, the other built discipline. 3 years later, they're living completely different realities. Satoshi is a motivation addict. Every Sunday night, he watches motivation videos. He gets fired up. He feels unstoppable. Monday morning, he wakes up early, goes to the gym, eats healthy, works on his side project. He feels amazing. Tuesday, he does it again, still riding the high. Wednesday, the motivation starts to fade. Thursday, he sleeps in, skips the gym, orders takeout. Friday, he's completely off track. Saturday and Sunday, he tells himself he'll start again Monday, and the cycle repeats. 3 years of this. 3 years of motivated Mondays and defeated Fridays. 3 years of starting and stopping. And where is he? Exactly where he was 3 years ago. Same body, same bank account, same life, because motivation gave him temporary energy but built zero lasting change. Takeshi took a different path. He didn't watch motivation videos. He didn't wait to feel ready. He didn't chase inspiration. He made one simple decision. Every single day, no matter how he felt, he would execute 3 non-negotiable actions. Wake at 5 a.m., train for 1 hour, work on his business for 2 hours. That's it. 3 actions, every day, no motivation required. First week was brutal. He didn't feel motivated. He didn't feel motivated. He felt tired, resistant, doubtful, but he executed anyway, because his commitment wasn't to feeling good, it was to keeping his word to himself. Second week, still hard, still no motivation, still executed. Third week, something shifted. Not motivation, something deeper. Identity. He started to see himself as someone who does what he says, someone who keeps commitments, someone disciplined. 3 years later, Takeshi built a business that generates 6 figures annually, lost 40 pounds, developed skills he didn't have, created a life he designed. Not because he was more talented than Satoshi, not because he had better circumstances, because he chose discipline over motivation. And discipline compounds. Motivation doesn't. Here's what you need to understand. Motivation is an emotion. Emotions are temporary. They fluctuate based on sleep, stress, blood sugar, weather, mood, circumstances. If your action depends on emotion, your action will be inconsistent. And inconsistent action produces inconsistent results, which means no real results. Discipline is not an emotion. It's a system. It's decision architecture. You decide once what you're committed to. Then you remove the daily decision. You don't ask yourself if you feel like it. You don't evaluate your motivation level, you simply execute, because that's what you decided. This removes willpower from the equation, and willpower is a limited resource. Discipline is unlimited because it's not resource-dependent. It's identity-dependent. Musashi wrote about this in The Book of Five Rings. He said the way of the warrior is in training, not in feeling, not in inspiration, in training. Shugyo means austere training. Training that continues regardless of circumstance, regardless of feeling, regardless of result. The training itself is the point, not the outcome, not the achievement, the daily practice of showing up. This is completely opposite to how you've been taught. You've been told to follow your passion, to do what excites you, to wait until you feel inspired. This advice has destroyed more potential than any external obstacle. Because passion is temporary, excitement fades, inspiration is sporadic. If you only act when these emotions are present, you'll act maybe 10% of the time. And 10% effort produces 0% results in anything that matters. The samurai didn't train when they felt like it. They trained every single day, in rain, in heat, in cold, injured, sick, tired, discouraged, didn't matter. Training happened. Because their life depended on it, your life might not depend on discipline, but your potential does. Your dreams do. Your self-respect does. Let me break down exactly how discipline works and how to build it. Because this isn't abstract philosophy. This is practical system design you can implement today. Discipline starts with identity decision, not goal setting. Identity decision. You don't decide what you want to achieve. You decide who you want to become. Satoshi set goals. I want to lose 30 pounds. I want to make more money. I want to build a business. Goals are external, achievement-focused. And when you don't see immediate progress toward the goal, motivation disappears. Takeshi made an identity decision. I am someone who trains every day. I am someone who builds businesses. I am someone who keeps commitments to myself. Identity is internal, process-focused. And when your actions align with identity, you don't need motivation. You're just being who you are. This distinction is everything. When you're trying to lose 30 pounds, every workout is effort. You're working towards something you don't have. When you are someone who trains daily, every workout is expression. You're expressing who you are. One requires motivation. The other requires nothing but honesty. Once you establish identity, you create non-negotiables. These are actions that happen regardless of circumstance, not goals, not aspirations. Non-negotiables. The things that define your identity through daily action. Takeshi had 3. Wake at 5 a.m. Train 1 hour. Work on business 2 hours. Simple. Specific. Non-negotiable. Here's the key. Non-negotiables must be achievable even on your worst day. If your non-negotiable requires 3 hours and perfect conditions, you'll break it. And every time you break a commitment to yourself, you damage your identity as a disciplined person. You want non-negotiables that you can execute even when you're tired, stressed, sick, busy, traveling, because those days will come. And discipline is proven on hard days, not easy ones. The third element is removal of decision fatigue. Every morning, Satoshi wakes up and asks himself, should I go to the gym today? Do I have time? How do I feel? Is it worth it? Every single morning, a new decision. This is exhausting. And the more tired or stressed he is, the more likely he chooses comfort over effort. Takeshi doesn't decide. he already decided. The decision was made once when he established his identity and non-negotiables. Now he just executes. No morning negotiation, no evaluation of feelings, no consideration of circumstances. The decision is made. Action is automatic. This is the power of discipline. It converts complex, repeated decisions into simple, one-time decisions. The fourth element is tracking without judgment. Discipline requires measurement, but not in the way you think. You're not tracking to evaluate if you're good enough. You're tracking to maintain identity integrity. Every day, Takeshi marks whether he executed his 3 non-negotiables, yes or no. Binary, no partial credit. Either he woke at 5 or he didn't. Either he trained or he didn't. Either he worked 2 hours on business or he didn't. This creates visual accountability. He can see his streak. He can see his identity made visible. 20 days in a row of yes, yes, yes. This isn't about motivation. This is about evidence. Evidence that he is who he says he is. And humans are driven by consistency. Once you have a streak, you don't want to break it. Not because you're motivated, because you're committed to identity integrity. The fifth element is implementation regardless of outcome. This is where most people fail. They stay disciplined as long as they see results. The moment results plateau or disappear, discipline disappears. This is still motivation in disguise. You're still acting based on external feedback. True discipline is process commitment regardless of outcome. Takeshi executed his non-negotiables even during the 6 months where his business made 0 money. Even during the 3 months where his weight didn't change. Even during the periods where nothing seemed to work. Because his commitment was to the process, not the outcome. And paradoxically, this is what produced the outcome. Consistent action over time always produces results. But only if the action continues when results aren't visible. Musashi understood this completely. He didn't train to win the next duel. He trained because he was a warrior. The training was his identity expression. The duels were just opportunities to test what was already built through daily discipline. He won 60 duels, not because he was motivated 60 times. Because he was disciplined for 20 years. Now here's what's going to happen. You're going to try this for 5 days and quit because you're still operating from motivation. You're motivated right now by this video. You'll feel excited, you'll start tomorrow, and when the motivation fades in 4 days, you'll stop. This is exactly the pattern we're trying to break. Real discipline starts with a 30-day commitment, not to achieving anything, to executing your non-negotiables for 30 days straight. No outcomes required, no results expected, just 30 days of showing up. This is long enough to shift from motivation-driven to identity-driven. Long enough for the process to become who you are instead of what you do. You're going to want to make your non-negotiables too ambitious. You're going to want to commit to 2 hours of gym, 3 hours of business work, perfect diet, meditation, reading, and 15 other things. This is motivation talking. Motivation always overcommits because it doesn't understand sustainability. Start with 3 non-negotiables. Maximum. Things you can do even on your hardest day. Build from there. You're going to want to make exceptions. Today is different. Today I have a valid reason. There are no valid reasons. That's the point. Exceptions destroy discipline, because once you make one exception, every day becomes a potential exception. Your brain is smart. It will generate legitimate-sounding reasons why today doesn't count. Don't listen. Execute anyway. Here's your challenge. Right now, before this video ends, make your identity decision. not your goal. Your identity. Who are you becoming? Write it down. I am someone who... Then establish 3 non-negotiables that express this identity. Actions you can do every single day regardless of circumstance. Write them down. Then commit to 30 days. Mark a calendar. Day 1 starts tomorrow. Every day you track, yes or no. Did you execute all 3 non-negotiables? That's it. No evaluation of how you felt. No assessment of results. Just execution tracking. After 30 days, come back to this video. Leave a comment. Tell me what shifted. Because something will shift. Not your circumstances, your identity. You'll start to see yourself differently, as someone who keeps commitments, as someone disciplined, as someone who doesn't need motivation because you have something stronger. Self-respect built through daily integrity. Satoshi is still waiting for motivation, still watching videos every Sunday, still starting every Monday, still quitting every Thursday. 3 years later, nothing has changed. Because motivation is a cycle that leads nowhere. Takeshi stopped waiting, stopped feeling, stopped needing inspiration. He became disciplined. And discipline is a compound curve that leads everywhere. 3 years later, everything has changed. Miyamoto Musashi never lost because he never relied on motivation. He relied on Shugyo, daily austere training. Identity expressed through consistent action. This is the warrior way. This is the path of discipline. Motivation is the drug that makes you feel strong while keeping you weak. Discipline is the practice that feels hard while making you unstoppable. Which one will you choose? The comfortable lie or the hard truth? Your identity, your non-negotiables, your 30 days. Start tomorrow. Or don't start at all, because motivation won't save you. Only discipline will.